But I wanted to ask you about Jewish writers and Catholic writers. In this book, you mentioned one of my favorite books, which is was it Chesterton's Heretics or Orthodoxy? I love both of them. They're both really funny and like just amazing books. And he's an amazing writer, no matter your religious persuasion.
I mean, I don't know. If you're a straight up Jewish guy, I don't know how much Chesterton.
I mean, I'm not a straight up Jewish guy.
You're not at all.
But I admire Chesterton very much. So I don't know, like American literature is actually very either Catholic or Jewish when you think about it.
Like the Supreme Court, huh?
Like the Supreme Court.
Or my parents.
Or your parents.
Yeah.
Do you like? Do you care when you're reading a book? Is this like, Catholic? Is it Jewish? Do you think there are distinctions between that, or do you read only for the sake of great literature? How do you think about
like
this?
there are certain like Jewish works that kind of like that hit me on some like extremely deep level, like when you're reading like Kafka or certainly like Woody Allen movie, like have you seen Crimes and Misdemeanors? That
ages ago.
That Woody, I saw it in college and it blew me away, and then I watched it again. So I watched it again a couple months ago, and it's not streaming anywhere. There's like, because so I like watched it on some weird website, and then I felt so bad about it that I bought the Blu-ray because I didn't want to steal it. So now I have the Blu-ray. I don't even have a Blu-ray player. I just couldn't, I couldn't live with myself that I,
right.
Two wrongs, whatever. But anyway.
Well,
but anyways,
one mitzvah makes up for one misdeed.
Maybe in their tradition, but I'm supposed to be Catholic, so it doesn't quite. I don't know if Aquinas would see it that way, but what am I saying? Oh, so the certain like Jewish things, it somehow hits me on this. It hits me like quite deeply, and I think around the time like I finished this book, I kept saying that it's a book about how about waking up every day and having no choice but to be Jewish, and waking up every day and choosing to be Catholic. That like I feel like when I think about myself as like a Jewish guy, it's something that I kind of like. It's kind of in the blood. I kind of can't. I can never stop doing that, no matter how hard I try. But being Catholic, like membership in the Catholic Church, at any moment I'm, one heresy away from severing myself from the mystical body. You know? So I think it's like, I guess that's like a decent answer, I guess, for like what it means to be Jewish, like how you can be Jewish and be Catholic. Because I think most Jewish people that we know who identify as that, they don't think like Moses was even a guy. They don't really believe in any of this stuff, but they still feel like some deep there's some kind of deeply programmed in like Jewishness, and I feel like that comes through in the books. Like I don't think like Philip Roth is not like an observant like religious Jew,
no,
but I think like it would be any of these guys we name. Like I don't think Kafka was really that Torah observant, who I think, and I tried making this point at my book launch event about Kafka really being like the original like Jewish comic novelist, like really in the tradition of like that followed of like Bellow and then Woody and then Larry David in particular. I feel like is so Kafka.
Yeah,
I'm careful. The word Kafkaesque is kind of like overloaded, and it like kind of means something. When other people use that word, it means like something slightly different than when I'm talking about Kafka. Right. But I feel like I noticed like that he has like, and if you read his like personal letters, if you ever read them, but he's like, he has like I call it, he has this like paranoid narcissism. He's he really thinks like anytime there's any like minor inconvenience that like the world is like conspiring against him. And I think you see like a similar quality certainly like in Woody Allen and then in like George Costanza and Larry David's characters. And to me that feels kind of like something's like quintessentially Jewish about that, but it might just be like,
what do you think that's all about?
I don't know where Jewish people get this feeling. Is it Job? Does it go back to that? I mean, that's kind of a Jewish. It goes back to Job. You can imagine Job, but the thing is, it's
inherited trauma from Job.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you think of Job, like the idea is like maybe kind of funny, but it actually isn't. You read it and it's just not funny. It really isn't funny because like you read like the trial or like the metamorphosis, and I'm giggling and it's so funny, and Kafka. From like his friend Max Brod said that he would be, he'd be like cracking up at the table, like writing these things. Like he'd be laughing so hard. It's like Kafka's writing like while people, it is very funny, but the Book of Job really, straight up isn't. But I might have to amend my thesis about like Kafka being like the originator of this, that it really might go back even to the author of Job.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, I mean, that was just with this idea of like the paranoid narcissism, that like when bad things happen to you, there's actually a reason for it.
Right.
But in Job, there's kind of no reason for it, or at least the reason for it is kind of present. Like God kind of, he shows him like the behemoth and the Leviathan, and he says like, look at this. You see this big beast? Like you don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
So don't ask me.
Yeah, don't ask me any more questions.
Why I'm putting boils all over your body and killed your wife and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, and in a way that is kind of Jew. Like it's very absurd almost, right? You could see that at the end of like Seinfeld episode or something.
Totally.
All these terrible things happening, and then God tells you like, you see this big dinosaur.
Yeah.
Look how big this monster is. Don't ask me why I killed your wife and like made your body break out in boils and stuff. I mean, that is pretty funny actually.
You know what's unique?
But you read it though, and it's not funny actually. You start reading it, and it really just. I mean, we're making it funny. We're a couple of professional writers.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and what's unique about it is it's the only book of the Bible or the Torah that I'm aware of that has
it's
been.
Not in the Torah. It's in the. Because the Torah is the first 5.
Oh, the Torah just means Pentateuch? This is how little of a religious upbringing I had. Yeah. Anyway.
But the whole thing, the Tanakh, but it stands for like the Torah, some other Hebrew things that spell out. But the T in the Tanakh is the Torah.
I see. But it's been made into art like multiple times successfully. There's a great Robert Frost play called A Mask of Reason. Mask like Masque.
It's interesting. I didn't even know about this.
There's the poet Archibald MacLeish wrote a play called J.B. And then there's the great Coen Brothers film, A Serious Man.
Yeah, it's it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like there's something. Yeah, because it doesn't have a moral. It kind of thinks it has a moral, but it doesn't have a moral.
The moral is like it's not up to you. Like don't presume to like. It's none of your biz. Like it's like,
but what kind of moral
is
that?
You have to love. The moral is kind of like you have to like love God no matter what, and like. Right. But it's a tough pill to swallow.
It is, certainly.
And how are you doing? Are you Catholic still? I feel like a year ago or something I ran into you and you were telling me you were Catholic. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. That's like me with the toothbrushing or something.
I think well, I mean, I don't even know if we've talked about this. I had
maybe I'm just thinking that you're half Jewish or something.
Yeah, I am half Jewish, but
maybe in your book is on Roosevelt Island. Maybe that's the thing that I thought.
No, well, this is another parallel: is that I did go through the rites of Christian initiation
for adults,
and then I didn't get baptized in the end. Isn't that crazy?
Cold feet,
exactly.
What happened?
I told the priest I felt like a whitened sepulcher, and he was like, "That doesn't make any sense." Like. You're fine. Just get baptized.
And he told so what? Tell me more about this. What made you stop?
Well, I was in my earlier mid-20s here in New York City, and yeah, I mean, I was just feeling, the weight of the world on my shoulders, and had always been a fan of G.K. Chesterton. And yeah, so I started going to these classes and they were good classes and the priest was really great. He's actually a 2nd generation priest. How do you like that? Can you solve that riddle? This is like a coding question.
There are a couple of ways. Like he could have had a naughty pervert dad. He could be Byzantine Catholic priest and Eastern rites. They can marry. I've met some married priests actually, married Catholic priests.
No, this is straight regular Catholic, no sinning involved.
And there was no sinning involved. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
this is like the joke about
widow
the surgeon.
Or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. His father became a priest after he was widowed.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, and he was really into the Enneagram.
I think you're not. It's funny because you're not. I don't think you're supposed to be. There's the Vatican II thing, right? Because that was kind of that was a big thing for me. It was kind of the Vatican II was part of my red pilling years and years ago.
Do you want to talk about this, or you prefer not to?
Well, no, I can't, because it's interesting actually as it relates to like Jewishness and kind of this like religious like indifferentism. I feel like that we see in America in like the 20th century. That like basically like by the 1960s like the traditional Catholic Church teaching has always been like you know, among other things, the error has no rights. Like there is no right to freedom of religion. Like this was changed in the 60s. And then also this, that every other religion is false, and that outside the Catholic Church, there's no salvation. This was like affirmed, you know, again and again by the church.
Yeah.
But
and
it's
then
a
they
deeply,
went and changed it.
They didn't even exactly change it, because like in Chesterton, you know, he'll be the first to say this, but like one of like the main draws of the Catholic Church is that it's supposed to be like immutable, and that it doesn't change, right? And that it is like this institution that's existed like continuously for 2,000 years. But it becomes deeply uncomfortable when you have like a religion that says like every other, like, you know, basically everyone who's not in the club is going to get tortured forever when they die.
Right.
And if like you're in
Another
America,
tough pill to swallow.
it's a tough pill to swallow, and it's kind of the message of Christianity. And it's tough. It's a tough one that basically that you just don't think about it too much is really the only way out of it. Because I've tried asking people, they don't really have they don't have a great answer for it. But anyway, so I think like they're like grown to a level of like, especially in other countries, but especially like in the United States, like, you know, you got like some Episcopalian neighbor, but you got some Jewish guy, you got some, now we got, you know, Hindus, whatever, Chinese atheists. Like it becomes like deeply uncomfortable. Like if at your church every week they're telling you that every single person you know is going to be tortured forever after they die. So kind of like the weaselly,
totally.
Yeah, it's deeply uncomfortable, right? It's like it's a crazy thing to believe, but it's what it says like in the New Testament, like pretty clearly says that. Like Jesus says it a bunch of times, right? That you have to be baptized. You throw John 3:5, unless a man is born of water and the Spirit, can't enter the kingdom of heaven. I think like Mark 16:16, he says like whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever doesn't believe will be, you know. So it's like pretty clear that like, you know, you gotta like be baptized. And then he even says that like in like Matthew 17, there's like a great, do you know this line where he says like, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, like will enter the kingdom of heaven. It might be worth even pulling this out actually, because this is, I was thinking about this last night, because I was talking kind of a Chesterton type guy, reeked of cigs.
Yeah.
He was part of the Cincinnati Tradcath scene.
Well, that's what I love so much about Chesterton. He has this great essay. Do you remember it, from Heretics, on sandals and simplicity?
No, I don't know about this.
And well, it's just like his.
No, I name drop orthodoxy, but I don't know about it.
No, he's defending being unhealthy. You know, being a cigarette smoker and a drinker and being a big fat guy.
Being a big fat guy.
Because for him, those are the prices he pays to keep his eternal soul clean.
Because
so
he would do actual sins, right?
Yeah,
it's
so he's
keeping
like,
him out of the whorehouse.
Yeah, he's like, watch out for people who like look really
yeah, that's true.
Clean.
That's an interesting one. Oh, and so